Brother Marine. Brother Marine. Brother Marine. We have returned again today, this day. It's Thursday. Welcome back. I'm Slate, that's me. That's the guy over here, right? That's me. We're getting back to doing our hobbying and our hanging and the out. We're doing it all. We're doing it all. Every single last bit of it. Hanging out. Darth Calgus. Greetings, brother. Are the names normally red like that? Who is this guy? His name is Blue. Why is the name red and then the name's blue? What's going on? What's with these colorful, color-coordinated names? I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I've never seen that before. Maybe it's part of Streamlabs. Never seen that in my life. So, we're starting the stream, and yes, you have caught me. You have caught me on this evening stream. You managed to catch the stream. Good for you. Congratulations. So I'll make sure, we gotta let people know, if they're wondering how they caught me, they can refer back to the beginning of the stream. And then, at that point, they can see how it is that they, in fact, caught me. So, we're going to be working on our dreadnoughts. Well, my dreadnoughts. They're not our dreadnoughts. I'm sorry. I'm not sharing them with you. They're mine. They're my dreadnoughts. I believe it's Streamlabs. Evening, Slaith. Oh, hello, Alfarius. Hello, Slaith. Hello. Hello, Sabian Wilson. It's all these names that I probably know who people are, but I have no idea who they are. I mean, this Alfarius character could be almost anybody. In fact, aren't we all a little bit more Alfarius than not Alfarius on the inside? Don't we all have a little Alfarius inside of us? Paint more flyers. Paint more flyers. Like Jaleo. Would those be the kind of flyers that I hand out to people and do I give them to the people that have the sign that says no flyers? No sharing here. This is a no sharing zone. So if you're just joining the stream, and if you're wondering how it is that you in fact caught me, then jump to the beginning of the stream, and you'll see how it is you caught me. Because it's too important to not relay that information. So, on tonight's evening stream, we're going to be doing a little bit more finishing up on this dreadnought here. So I decided to do the metal dreadnought first as the prototype of getting the pattern down for what I need to do for the base coating. And then the rest will follow suit after this, except for the Assault on Blackreach ones, because those have really weird leg pad things. I was expecting some airbrushing, unsubbed Keck. Well, Crunk, you see, I have to talk to my tech guy about that. He assured me that it would be working, but it's not working, so I might have to relay that objection to the tech guy. We'll figure that out just when we can. Alright, so now I need to figure out exactly what I'm doing here. So it looks like the bottom of that is totally different than on this metal model. Awesome! I love when the models aren't the same. That way, it doesn't make me confused at all. The only thing we Space Marines share is the glory of the Emperor and our chapters. That's right. We make sure that we tell everybody about our chapters. We tell them incessantly. This is my chapter. I love it. Alright, so now we're going to... I'll just do this, right there. There's no clear defined spot for it, so I'm just going to go right there, right from the word go. Alright, and I need to get this whole side. Thing here. Side bottom thing. Side bottom. Side bottom is kind of like side boob. Arguably, they both have their advantages, their ups and downs. Their lefts and rights, right? But side boob doesn't quite have all of the features and factors that side bottom has, right? So that's why we're going to be working on this side bottom just for a moment here. Let's give it a quick thin coat of some Abaddon black, right? And we'll just get that all nice. We'll get it all really nice. So we've got a nice happy dreadnought right here. You know, and there's no mistakes, there's no accidents, there's no accidents. There's just happy mistakes. There's just all the things, whatever the Bob Ross would say, okay? I'm not Bob Ross, right? I would pale in comparison to Bob Ross. My hair's a lot straighter than Bob Ross's, and not quite as afro-y. Which, I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that. Sometimes that's exactly what you need. You need to have, like, that afro haircut sort of thing, right? You need to paint some models, some canvases. Awkward silence. Hunting the fallen that is... What? I want to know where the Final Fantasy gameplay is, Abada Black. Can we get a dreadnought named Corn Poppy? There's a happy little tree. Abaddon Black is my favorite. Don't tell Gilliman. Well, you see, Abaddon Black... And don't worry, I won't tell Gilliman. But I mean, Marnius Calgar might have to get a whiff of that juicy gossip. Right? I mean, we all know that Marnius Calgar is essentially a gossip queen who just shares all the rumors and all the nonsense. You know, like, oh, you never know what Ezekiel just said. Oh, what's that? Oh, get a load of this. So how far does that go up? All the way to the top? All the way to the top. Alright, well this dreadnought... There's only a few more areas that I really need to get this black pattern onto, and then it will pretty well serve as the pattern prototype to all the other ones. And then good chance just to be able to get some consistency. You know, I'll probably even work on those. You know, I'll make sure that everybody's got the pattern ready, and then everybody's got the reds fixed up to match, and then everybody, rock your feet until you're naughty. Whoa. Okay. Oh god, I'm gonna be executed for heresy. Well, you might, but then again, I mean, if Gilliman or Calgar were to get rid of all of the focus of all of the juicy, tasty gossip, then they'd have nothing to talk about while they're sitting there around, like, the coffee machine and the water cooler, right? They need to have something to do. I mean, come on, do you have any idea how bored they are? You know, they need something to do too, right? And if they got gossip, that's the thing that they got to do and to enjoy. So, like, let's let them enjoy their gossip. Alright, this is gonna be a bit tough. I gotta get in here at this, like, really awkward angle. Not touch the red thing. But then get enough black paint into here. Okay, wait, can I even see in there? Alright, let's do this. You know what, I think this center part too. Because that looks weird and stands out to me, so I'm gonna do that part too. Dun 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 dun. Bravo, Marines. That is right, Judge Dredd. I have returned. We all have returned again this day. Today it is Thursday. It is a day that ends in Y. And why, you may be asking yourself, have you returned because of your loyalty to the Emperor and to the Imperium, to humanity, to the Chaos Gods, to Gork and Mork, to the Hive Mind, to Baal Tan, to anything that you want. As long as you're loyal to what it is that you stay true to, then you are here with me and everyone else, and we all together will be. So let's get a little bit more of this black on here. Just enough so that way I don't see any more red kind of bleeding through, because that is not very, very good looking. I think things could definitely look a lot better in that regard. Oh, hey Relic. How's it going? All that crusading must be boring. I would imagine so, right? Like, every so often, you know, you just want to sit down and, like, play some Smash Bros. I mean, they're always playing Smash Bros. Pretty much, but I'm saying like real Smash Bros. You know, like Melee. Alright, so we're gonna need some bit more paint here. I'm running out of the paint on the palette there to put onto this pewter and this plastic, so let's make sure that we give it a little bit of a shaky cam. Oh man, that's what it looks like for her. So, we're just gonna give that a little bit of a shake. Going same stuff, different day. Isn't that the truth? It's always the same stuff on a different day, a different hour, different moment, but every minute that you make it will be the ones that you do, rather than the ones that you don't. So if you continue forth on it is what it is that it is you're doing, then you will always be true to the thing that you had done, and the thing that you will do. That's right. This is words from Slaith. So, brother Marines, on this day of which we will be commemorating the painting of a Space Marine Dreadnought, which by commemorating, I mean actually doing instead of commemorating it, because that would be as if it was done in the past. But it was done in the past. This past. And now it'll be brought into the future. What's going on with Doom Astartes? Doom Astartes? Let's see. Doom Astartes. I don't know if there's been a lot of updates for Doom Astartes recently, Judge Dredd there, but I would say that a lot of the focus from Neko, who's the guy who made Doom Astartes, he's been working a lot on Darktide at Home mod for Doom. So it's a Doom mod, just like the Astartes mod, but you get to play as the classes from Darktide. So you get to be like a guardsman or veteran guardsman, you get to be an Ogryn, I think you get to be a fanatic, you get to be all these different things, but in Doom. And it, I believe, is intended to be played multiplayer, so with a lobby of a bunch of other players going through the levels. So it'll have that Darktide feel, but with that Doom affordability. And there's been a lot of updates for that, a series of different weapons that are available for the different classes that you'd be able to use, you know, at your choice and discretion, you know, choosing which class you want to be. And then, beyond that, though, I don't know too much. I would know probably just about as much as anyone else, kind of in the current know of the Neko stuffing mods. So, I would just say, keep your eyes open and stay tuned, because Papa John's is something Papa John's. So just, you know, be patient, and there's going to be some nice new mods to come out, somewhat in alternative to or tandem with the Astartes mod. So there's going to be, a bunch of freshly created weapons, a whole list of different guardsman weapons and variants of weapons. So they're not just going to be colored reskins of the Astartes weapons. They're going to be brand new weapons that are made just for them. And as for the Astartes mod, though, I think a lot of the newer things are being put on somewhat hold for that. So that way, I think there's going to be essentially a lot of quality of life sort of upgrades to the mod in general. And I think the next things that we're going to be, from what I remember, right, because plans change, right? So some of these things might not make it into the final thing, but I believe there might be another chapter on the horizon for the mod, right? There's a bunch of different playable chapters. So I think that could be one. I remember there being some talks about the possibility of build your own, make your own, or add your own chapter addition to the mod. So that way people could essentially just put in their whatever chapter they wanted with a quick kind of customizer. I'm not sure if or when that's going to get implemented, but I do remember that being talked about. So that's one thing to possibly, wait for, but I can't say if or when that actually is going to happen, though. Beyond that, yeah, I think that's kind of all the fresh news that I know I would be able to come up with for Doom Astartes on the spot. Have you seen the ads for the 40k Tacticus mobile game? It appears GW has fallen further down. No, I've not seen the ads for the 40k Tacticus mobile game. I have no idea what that even is. Not sure how, but somehow some of the paint has scraped right down to the computer. That's interesting. That's interesting. I don't know how that managed to happen, but okay. Alright, model. Alright, touche. I see that you're not only going to be absolute bullshit, but you're going to be bullshit incarnate. Alright, metal model. I remember meeting metal models back in the day. Alright, metal model. We'll see if I've met my match with your metallic monstrosity. Let's see if I've met my match with your... Alright, let's do another take. Let's see if I met my... Yeah, fuck it. Fuck you, Dreadnought. Get painted. Alright, basically Clash of Clans, but Warhammer. Jesus. That sounds terrible. That sounds bad. Okay. Well, I've lost all excitement. I have lost all excitement and hope. That is entirely destroyed all there is dear to me. I cannot stand. I cannot stand that. I cannot stand for that. That will not stand. I can't stand. My legs are asleep. Alright. So let's finish up what I needed for this leg section. Most of this just needed like a second coat. I know that torso, I needed to get that out, that like under section. So yeah, I just need to get like a second coat on most of this. And I'll just do it really thin too. Although that could be contributing to why the paint's coming off. But that'll just be our little secret. Okay, so... get some of this onto this foot. See, these are Dreadnought feet. You know somewhere, someone out there is probably masturbating to them. Because they're looking at this and they're like, oh, I love those Dreadnought feet. And then they kind of look left, look right, make sure no one's looking. And then they just flop it out and just kind of be like, I just need to give it 2 coats. Alright, so let's get a little bit in there. 2 thick coats. Oh, Someone's excited. Okay. Few areas. That looks... Is that even painted? Jeez. Must have been. Some of these areas I can still see red. See a dreadnought and I want it painted black. I see a dreadnought. I am going to paint it black. I have to do that off key so that way I don't get like sued or something for doing such a bad job of singing the song. So that way it's my own song. It's like a new song. It's different. Oh God, by the Emperor! The Emperor does not forgive. The Emperor does not forget. The Emperor only likes to eat white bread. None of that wheaty stuff. Because then the things get caught in his teeth. He doesn't really like that. He finds it annoying and he has to pick it out. Okay, so... Well, there's a little bit of red on there. So I'm gonna get that leg shield thing, whatever. It's definitely not a knee pad because it doesn't have knees. Interesting fact about dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts are not born with knees. In fact, they don't even develop knees later in life. Or maybe they do when they grow up and they hit puberty and they become a redemptor. Then they grow knees. Dreadnoughts, regular dreadnoughts, are like babies. They don't have kneecaps. Because they don't need them, because everyone just carries them around. Also because they're not real. Thin your paints. Thin your paints. Java. Hey Java. Java. So, brother Marines, on this day, it is the day of which it actually it's kind of evening now, isn't it, or night? So on this night, on this eve, this is All Hallows St. Crispin's Day away. In the evening, though. We're gonna give a little bit of a slap there with some paint and just a little bit of a back and forth, a squishy squishy. The squishy squishy is the sound effect from when you're like applying something that's moist or like, you know, like squishy, and you're putting it on something, like, you know, like paint, and how paint's wet, right? Like it's moist, right? Like it's like full moist, right? Like if I had like one of those Queepy Wisps, I would say moist, right? So, you know, you gotta be like squidgy, squidgy, right? Like, cause that's essentially the noise it would make if we lived in a cartoon, right? You know, it would be right onto this part here, the little, like, butt gas vent on the dreadnought, right? It would be like, squidgy, right, when you're applying it there. It's Friday in the UK, brother. Oh, sorry, let me try that again. Let's do it, all right. Beep. It's Friday in the UK, brother. That's not how that would be said either. It's Friday. It is Friday in the UK. Oh, that rhymes. Wow. Wow. All right. So I'm just going to add a little bit right here. This spot that's never going to get seen, but I suppose it'll add a little bit of internal texture. So that way it doesn't spin around and fly around and stuff. Now, I don't even really need to be going super making sure everything's 100% on all these areas. So I'm going to be putting a silver coat over a good portion of this. But I still want to make sure it's fairly even enough. Always apply 2 thin coats. Hey, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Sometimes I do more. Sometimes I do more than 2. Sometimes I do many more. Sometimes I do so many, I just start painting over old coats and just start spraying old models. Alright. Let's see. This. Ba, ba, ba. Alright, I think we've got it. All right. I think we've got it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So here's the plan with these dreadnoughts. So the casket on the front, the updated version, it's going to be black on the front. It's going to be like a black casket, like Black Superman when he died, and there was like that bloody S, right? And it was just like, Superman's dead, right? So we're going to make it like a black casket on the front. And then on the sides, instead of it being red, it's all going to be metal. Metal. And then these under little bit things, right? Like the nipple scanner and like the whatever that is, nipple, right? Those are going to be metal. And instead of like on this one where it's all shittily done by like shitty younger me, this one's going to be way better, and it's going to be all metal there. Oh, you know what I could do? A tiny little thing right there. Just so that way it matches, that little scanner bulb. We'll just do that little bolt right there. We'll do that in metal in a second. Or we'll do it in black first. Then we'll do it in metal. Why would you do this many thick coats in the path to chaos? The 8-coat path. Hold on a second. Let me put this down for a second. Hold on a second. Let me get a sip of my coffee. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me read that one more time. Hold on. Let me just do it slow, okay? Let me just go for the slow. Why would you do this many thick coats? Is the path to chaos the 8-coat path? Ah, there's like a question at the end there. Okay. All right. Okay, I got it, right? I used my head and my brain and my mind and my thoughts to be able to figure it out with my imagination. Okay. So, why would I do that? Why? Well, sometimes you thin your paint too much, right? Sometimes you thin your paint too much, and then you need to like do more coats because it's just not like dummy thick enough, right? Like you're slapping some paint on, but it's not clapping around the battlefield, right? So you need to be doing a few more coats just to be sure. But they're like so thin you can almost call them like half coats. But you're still coating the whole area, so it's not like, you know, just like half of the area. It's all of the area, but it's half as thin. Wait, half as thick. Because if it was half as thin, it would be twice as thick, wouldn't it? There you go. That is the math of the power of English. So, gun bulb thing. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to the original here. Let's go back to the original. Did we win yet? Java, we're always winners. Every night. We know it every time we look in the mirror. We look at every time, right, that we get that big score. We're always the winners. We are the champions, my friend. No, brother. Brother. Who was that? What was that one guy where it's just like, Lorgar, it is me, your brother. Please come out. It is all just a big misunderstanding. I know it is. Please just answer my texts. Message me back on Facebook. Hit me up on WhatsApp. Lorgar, I implore you. Follow me on Insta. 5 minutes later. Lorgar of Calgar, this is not Keck, and you are not my brother. I unfollowed you on Twitch, and I will never subscribe to you again. Okay, so what do we got? I think we've done most of what's on here to keep this new one true to this one, but then updated. So I think for looking for examples on here, I think I'm kind of done. Unless, does it have a Mechanicus cog? It does not have a Mechanicus cog. It does not. Okay? It does not. So, oh, look at that. He's got a skull thing. Does this guy have like a skull thing? Skull thing? Skull thing. Oh, is there a lightning bolt underneath it? Look at that. There's a little lightning bolt. Alright, well that changes everything then. Alright, there's a skull there and a lightning bolt. And that changes everything. So, we're going to need to have a little bit more of this Chaos Black. I mean, Abaddon Black. I mean, we need some of this paint from this pot on the palette so I can put it on the model and go from there, because otherwise, I mean, it's just me kind of just talking and doing things. I mean, like, that is what a live stream is, right? You just kind of talk and do things, depending on what you're talking about or what you're doing, right? I mean, like, this could be a talking and kind of just sitting here stream. That's a thing. That's been a thing. It can be a thing again. It will be a thing again. But for now, Paris. So, we get our brush. Right, you always gotta clean your brush in your mouth. That is the best way. You get the cleanest brush if you just stick the paintbrush in your mouth. And if you're able to do it with some paint on the end, then, you know, like, that's good too. I mean, we all need to get our vitamins. So, get a little bit more of this paint on the palette. Beautiful. Okay, and then I don't really have a lot. I mean, I do have a lot. I've got like a fresh jar, but I just don't want to use it. So I was going to use some water. Yay! All right. Now, what do I need to do on here? There's a few areas where it looks kind of thinner than others. Looks like this gauntlet thing. You know, I'll just do another coat on there. Kind of start slapping this around a little bit. Just so that way it gets a nice, clean finish coat, layer, base coat, dry brush, non-metallic metal. See, if I just kind of keep saying things like that, it's almost like it sounds like I know what I'm doing. I mean, I do know what I'm doing, but it almost makes it sound like, you know, like I really know what I'm doing. Rather than just kind of like poking in the dark and just, you know, hoping and, you know, that the dark's not going to poke back, because homie don't play like that. So, bam! Bam! Alright, so I think that looks like pretty well everything. Then, alright, so I'll just make sure I just do it. Doot is the technical term for when you don't have any brush, when you don't have any paint on your brush, but there's a little bit of paint on the model, and you need to remove that tiny little bit of paint on the model, right? So you just kind of dab at it with your brush. That's called the doot, right? And that's actually the sound that it makes. If you were to get like a really powerful microphone and focus it in on the brush removing the paint, it actually sounds specifically like that. It actually sounds just like me saying it, which is why I was really straining to make sure that that example would be accurate, on par, scientifically on point, and entertaining. So let's add a little bit more water there. See if we can just finish up everything here. See, a lot of these are just flat panels with barely anything on it, so I'm not too worried about adding like it a little bit too thick on here. Because a lot of these Space Marine toys, and I mean like they're all just a bunch of big flat panels. So they're all incredibly boring looking, and that actually works to your advantage, where let's say you have a little bit too much paint on there and it's kind of thick. Well, there's not going to be a lot obscured, because it's not going to have all these like tiny details. Well, I mean, it might, but it's pretty much just going to be a bunch of sweeping flat boards. So it almost doesn't really matter how thick you go on there. It's good to go on in multiple coats, because, I mean, one thick coat will, you know, that'll dry a certain way and then peel off in its own disgusting way. But thinner coats, it's like having like an armor that falls apart instead of blow up. You know, there's like a word for that, but I'm just gonna deliberately pretend that I don't know what it is. And give a little bit of more things here. So I want to make sure that all the areas here are nice and even if I need them to be. And then after that, rinse and repeat. And I'm going to leave the old Dreadnought, so that one that I did back in like the early 2000s, that's one of my first models. I'm going to leave that one the way it is until last. See, that Dreadnought, for the spiritual purposes of this, is almost like the leader, because he was the first one. He's not the biggest one, he's not the most stabbiest one, he's not the necessarily the deadliest one, but he's the oldest one. He's got that seniority. And so because of that seniority that model has, he's going to wait until all the rest of his Dreadnought battle brothers have been dressed up and finished up all the way, and so that way, essentially, that Dreadnought gets the final approval. That's right. I am putting the final approval of these toys up to a toy. This toy gets to decide. And by that I mean me, because through action, that model is essentially just me. But that's not the point. Okay? The point is that these Dreadnoughts are going to get finished. There's going to be more Dreadnoughts to go. It's going to be amazing. Stay tuned. There's going to be more to come. Papa John's. Okay? So now that we've got our Dreadnought Prime, right? Here's Bloodhound's Dreadnought Prime, which I already made sure to get a bunch of pictures. You know, it's like, get your pictures now of this Dreadnought, because this Dreadnought's not going to look like this pretty soon. He's going to be transitioning to... he's going to be changing into a new pattern, and he's going to look different, and he's not going to be the same Dreadnought that he would have been for the last 20 years. Now, I'm not quite sure why I'm puppeting this Dreadnought as if it's me and I'm talking, because that's kind of essentially what I'm just doing right now, but that's fine, because this can be me. Like, I'm supervising as the Dreadnought to make sure the other Dreadnoughts, like that guy right there, like, that they get the proper attention that the Dreadnought, this is getting weird, because now I'm, like, talking about, so, that this Dreadnought, that's representing me, that apparently is also now kind of puppeting with the way that I'm talking right now, so this Dreadnought is going to be making sure the rest of the Dreadnoughts get all the TLC and the attention and all of that love and care and all of that work and effort that's been put into it that wasn't put into this one, where it really should have had. It's like an older brother. It's like, I want to make sure that my younger brothers are given everything that I never had. I mean, like, said no older brother ever. But you see, this, right, is going to be he's Dreadnought Prime. I'm Dreadnought Prime. He's Dreadnought. This is Dreadnought Prime. Wow, that got weird. Okay, so this is Dreadnought Prime, and that's the Dreadnought prototype pattern, and now we just need to repeat this onto more Dreadnoughts. So fortunately for me, the other Dreadnoughts are all plastic, and so I don't need to worry about them being metal and that sucking absolute suck. It sucks. Was the volume too loud? Is this too loud? Let's turn this down a little bit. What's going on there? Let's turn that down a tiny bit, so it doesn't like peak and crack and die and la. So, alright. Okay. Alright. So we're gonna get a Dreadnought. I'm not gonna get the wait, do I want to get the Furioso? No, I'll leave the Furioso to be the penultimate Dreadnought, right? So the Furioso Dreadnought will be just before this one gets the attention. So it's gonna be the second to last, right? Isn't that what that means? Is that what penultimate means? I don't know what that means, okay? I don't know what penultimate means. But what I know is I'm painting Dreadnoughts. You're all watching me. Thank you for all the people watching. I'm not hanging up the phone right now. But what I am going to do is I'm going to go get some Dreadnoughts, and I will leave it with the away loop thing that is this. And we are back. I have returned. I have a Dreadnought here that clearly has had a little bit of work on it already, but we can finish this work and go steps further and get this guy up to that level and then continue doing that more. So this guy has a little bit less work to do on it than some of the other ones, but that's alright. And he's got some kind of katana that I got from some kind of like dollar store toy. I have no idea what it was, but there it is. I am Brother Yatsumoto. Alright, so what are we at? 40 minutes. Wow. We're 40 minutes in. We got the Dreadnought. Got that one. We got this one. I also got all these arms and stuff. We could get all the arms done if we wanted. Get that done in like one swoop. Or have them ready for each one while we're doing each one that they go with. Wow. You know, there's a lot of options. There's a lot of variety. There's a lot of variation that could be done here. There's a lot that could be done. A lot. A lot. Wait, what's this do? What? 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 There's Dreadnought Cam. Oh, Dread Cam? Oh, check that out. We got Dread Cam. Alright, Dread Cam. Dread Cam 1. Where do we put Dread Cam 1? Right there. Alright, Dread Cam 1. Alright. I'll have to put that right. Not like that. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Oh, I've got Dread Cam 1. Is that good? Dread Cam 1. Bam. We got it right here. Dread Cam. Alright. So that way you can always keep your eye on the prize that we're going to modify and make entirely different. So, let's see. 45 minutes in. This is an adult program, which means I can swear and drink and curse and light cigarettes and smoke them. So if you are not old enough to watch this show, I'm sorry, you have to leave right now. Or otherwise your mom will know. Because I will tell your mom. This is a show for grown-ups. Okay, so if you're not at least old enough to have been born when this model came out, then I'm sorry. That says right there, GW 2000. If you're not at least 2000, you're not old enough for the show. This is for duo millennials. This is for old people, okay? It's for the old people, all you youngins, you young ones. Get out. You're not here. You're not part of the show anymore. You have been canceled. Just like Slaith got canceled. Slaith got canceled. Cancel Slaith. Cancel everything. Everything. Cancel it all. Cancel Slaith. You're going to jail. Let's see. We got this music. We got the music. We got the sound. We got the tunes. We got all that going for us. That's pretty good. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty good. Good. All right. Let's go. Let's check out. Let's see if there's comments in the chat. I have to open up YouTube. All right, close this shit. All right. Oh. I'll show that. It was held for review. It needed to be approved. That was a comment that YouTube decided to say, nah, nuh-uh. You can't be doing that. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. So I had to step in and say, well, YouTube, that's my good buddy there, Java, right? Shout out to Java. Hey, Java, at Java. Java. So, this Probably going to need to essentially just go over it all over the place. And even in the areas where it's already got some black on it, I'm probably going to want to give it just another, at least one quick coat over it. Just to make sure that the finish matches the rest of the areas that we'll be doing. I don't know why I've decided way back when to like pluck out these things in the legs. That's all just going to get painted over. Sorry, past me. You made a bad decision. Trusting future you. Okay. And it looks like on this I was going to just completely replicate here. But in, you know, looking back on it, I think this would look way better with the legs all being silver. Except for like the little like butt section and like crotch pad. But I don't know what's going on with this part. This part makes me a little bit confused. I don't know what's going on with the front of the dreadnought there, where it goes like around like that, because the regular one doesn't do that. It doesn't do that the same way. There's like a lip. There's like a. It doesn't do that. Okay. So either I'm gonna make all of that black and then turn it all silver with the casket, or I'm gonna make all of that red, I think. But then that wouldn't quite line up with the rest of it and the way I'm doing the other one. So it's all gonna be silver, I suppose. Because this part right here really, really fucks with it. I don't know what's going on. Like I said, the other dreadnought, the normal dreadnought, doesn't have that. It doesn't have that bottom section to it. So right there, that fucks with my plans. So I need to figure out, paint it black and then paint it silver, and that whole bottom carriage area too. Or I leave that part undone and then I paint that part red. So that way it matches the rest of the kind of the hull. Of the hull? The middle section part. This part. It matches this part. And the whole center of it. The center of it's red. Okay? So I don't know what to do with that one part. That part's going to just evade me for the next bit until I figure it out. And then when I do, well, it will finally be there. We will have achieved absolute integrity. But until then, there are other steps that can be done, which are more... Oh, sure, what was that? There was like a thing that flew by. It was an orb. This is a haunted stream. Did you see that little bit of clearly thing that wasn't dust? It was an orb. Aliens. This stream is so popular, it's being visited by ghost aliens. Alien ghosts, which technically are different. Ghost aliens are aliens that came here that were ghosts. But alien ghosts are aliens that came here and then died and then became ghosts and came back from the dead. So I want to see if we can. I want like a vote in the chat. I could maybe make one, but whatever. I want some hands thrown up. Who thinks that was an alien ghost, and who thinks that was a ghost alien? You saw it. It flew by right like that, just like 30 seconds ago. Right, like it flew by, it went like that, and it went down, and it could either be an alien ghost or a ghost alien, right? I need the scientists to be able to determine this. I need some absolute science facts, so I need like everything, only wrong answers in the chat, okay? Aliens or the tribes of old. Oh, wow. Oh, man, it could have been like illegal aliens. Well, that's not gonna like affect the live stream, is it? Like we can't be having that. Clearly, like, I'm sorry, but are the ghost aliens a cause of space lights? That's a good question. Are the ghost aliens a cause of space lights, or are the space lights the thing that cause ghost aliens? But then again, we need to still narrow it down. We need to go back to the beginning. Is it a ghost alien, or is it an alien ghost? Right, that really makes a big difference, right? These orbs are serious business, and they only come out at certain times of night, right? And you have to make sure that you have like Jigglypuff at the start of your party, and you have to have Wobbuffet at the back, right? On a Wednesday, but it's Thursday, and I guess it's Friday in some places. So maybe I forgot to set the clock properly, but like, or maybe that's like a shiny. I don't know what that was. So we need to figure this out. I need the help. I need you to send me your energy. I need like, it's like a fully harnessed and focused and blasted spirit ball, bomb, wolf fang fist that's gonna like smash through to the other side and like be the light that's in the night that you saw with your sight that blasted white. That's right. So I'm going to finish this cigarette because I'm having a smoke. If you're wondering why I'm doing it, I'm not doing anything. It's because I'm having a smoke and I'm sitting here. This is an adult show, remember. This is for grown-ups. For big boys, okay? No girls allowed, right? And you have to be at least this many. All right, so we're going to need to get our paint shaken up. That's probably good. That's all you need, right? We'll shake that up, give it a bit of a, get it shook. And then we'll start working on the next dreadnought. Maybe we'll work on some of the areas that are less touched. And that way, more attention can be brought to... What is that? This thing is so cheaply made. This thing sucks. Okay, let's look at this again. So what the fuck is going to happen there? Is this... So wait, like... If I do this side all in black... Where do I stop? Where do I stop? Do I stop right there? And then does this one stop right there? What? Oh no! What do I do? How come no one warned me of the light, of the space light that gets the therapist pregnant? Was that an alien ghost? No AR. I think that's the plot of this really weird anime where there's this spaceship that's full of women, and then this light gets on board and it goes into one of the women, and then she becomes pregnant, and then aliens attack, and they attack the space women, and then the woman and the now baby, and the baby grows up really fast and he becomes like a grown-up, and then one of the women and the guy now, because he's a guy, go to the planet, and then it zooms to millions of years later, and it was Earth all along. You finally made a monkey. Yes, you finally made a monkey. Let's get some paint on the palette. It was a TNG episode. Okay. Well, there could be like a TNG anime, couldn't there? Yeah, that's a lot of paint. That is a lot of paint. That's a lot. It's a lot of paint. Alright, so I'm going to clean off the brush here. Get some water out. Put some water right there. Some dab. Mix some water into that. Maybe mix a little bit more. Because there was a pretty viscous blob there of paint. The drinking of liquids actually happened, though it could not have been an anime. Maybe. It's possible. So, okay, now let's get this dreadnought here. Jeez. Alright, well I'll just start with something that's fairly obvious and easy then. I'll go for these parts here for the arm gun thing connections. So I'll go for that. Very careful not to touch the inside. It's like the opposite of operation. Make sure you paint just on the outside, but don't touch the inside. Operation. And I'm gonna get that part there too. Weird that that's not on the front part. Just so that way, I'm gonna get all of these matching up as close as possible. This is like 3 generations of dreadnoughts. There's the metal one, the plastic kit, and the Assault on Blackreach dreadnought. And each one of them has, in like the design of it, some differences. So it does make it a bit difficult when you're trying to make the match based on sectionalizing parts of it like this. So it does kind of make things a bit complicated unnecessarily. But I mean, would this really be painting bloodhounds if it wasn't unnecessarily complicated? I mean, ask yourself that and then you'll know the answer. So I'm just gonna get some area around here. Tiny bit of it on the peg there, not too much. Just a little bit, just to give it some texture, although all that's probably gonna get like scraped off in the future anyway from the friction from the contact with the other piece. Oh well. Did you like the Brutalis? You know, I did. I did like the Brutalis. I thought the Brutalis was alright. I wasn't... You know, this is going to be the not surprising opinion of the century. You know, I didn't quite mind... I didn't quite like... Sorry, I'll say it that way. I didn't quite enjoy the Desolator Marines. You know, I think that's a fairly common and unoffending opinion to take. Do I think they're perfect? Far from. Could they be improved? Pretty easily, I think. So I don't think they're absolutely a lost cause. I think that they very easily, out of box, with a little bit of creativity and imagination and some hobby tools, that could be, it has the potential to be an alright looking kit. But you have to change it. As is, out of box, no. But with a little bit of ingenuity and imagination, it could be a worthwhile kit. But only if. But only if. Maybe there'll be something to save it. Maybe there's going to be some tiny thing to save it, to make it so it's not so bad. It's unlikely, but, you know, maybe. Alright, so now... try to neatly get these leg sections, and then leaving that box alone. And you know, this is actually kind of nice. Because I've been painting so many Space Marines for so long. And like just Space Marines, just a bunch of infantry. That it is kind of nice to mix things up a little bit. Change a pace, change a scenery. Vacation, so to speak, from painting Space Marines. By painting other types of Space Marines. So, in a way, that does make it sound ultimately defeating. So, okay, alright. So it's not very much different. It's pretty much the same thing. But it's a different toy. So, with that, yeah. Space Marines. Come on. Come on. Come on. Okay, and then there's whatever's going on here with with this thing. I don't even know what to think about this part. Because there's this part here, right, which just juts into the top of that guard. But the other dreadnoughts don't have anything like that. It seems to only be on the Assault on Blackreach dreadnought. And I just don't know what to make of it. Like, is it part of that leg guard? Is it part of the mechanics of the leg? So, do I paint it to match the leg guard? Or do I paint it to match the other part? What is going on? I have no idea what that is. And it's going to elude me. I guess it is whatever I decide it is and how I paint it. That's what it is. Alright, so I'm going to try to get this part now. Alright, there's some under sections. This is the thing that I'm worried about with these dreadnoughts. Because they're built a certain way. They're already built. So there's going to be sections of them that are going to be very difficult to paint. Now that this whole toy is assembled. Right? I mean, it's been assembled like this for years. But it's going to be a little bit of a challenge getting to some of these spots on here. And then once I do, another challenge is I might need to paint it like several times because of making a black base coat, adding silver to sections, cleaning up sections where things got hit with one color that they weren't supposed to. But now that's where we are now, and that's the world we live in, and, you know, you're not dreaming. So, I guess I'm just gonna have to do my best. Right? No promises for absolutely flawlessly, perfectly painted models here. This is gonna be model triage. We're getting done what we can get done the way we can get it done. Right, this is not going to turn into, alright, let's rip this model apart so that one spot that no one's ever going to see gets painted. I mean, you can see it, but only if you hold it under a certain angle at a certain light that's being reflected off of one of Jupiter's moons. Then you can see this part of the model where it wasn't, like, painted all the way. So, you know. That's just going to be our little... Okay. But yeah, it would be nice if I could get everything, but in the end, there's probably going to be a bunch of sections that are not. But you will know, even if others don't. No, not if I close my eyes while I'm painting it. Where is it? Where is it? Is this it? This is it? Oh, shoot. Now what's going on here? Okay. Let's get that off of there. Good thing that I went really thin. That means that this paint will come off with a little bit of water and and then done. Bam. Alright. I'm just gonna add some around what I was just painting. Kind of mark it off. Alright, and some of this side. Oh yeah, there's gonna be that part at the top, isn't there? Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna have to do some I'm gonna have to do some analysis. I'm gonna have to pull out some of the evidence. Make sure that all this gets done as per the Codex Bloodhounds. But Slaith, you mean, aren't you just making it up as you go along? No. No, I'm not. Don't you ever say that again. In fact, you're banned. Alright, so now we get some of this area here. Oh boy. Okay. There's still gonna be parts in the front. Oh no! What's our time looking at? 1 hour and 6 minutes. Looking good. We still have plenty of time to paint some toys together. Thank you everybody for joining me on this stream. I'm Slaith, this is a Dreadnought, and this is my little red rocket. I'm Johnny Knoxville. Let's paint some Dreadnoughts. I'm not actually Johnny Knoxville. I can't really back that up in court. There we go. That's looking pretty on point there. Not entirely covering every single part, but that's fine because that's what a second coat is for. Yes. Get a little bit more from there. Let's go to this side. Ay-ya-ya. The drying. Either way, it's not quite spreading the same, so I think it is drying. It is beginning to dry, my friend. It is because you are using of a driest of dry palette. Your palette is so dry. It needs mayo. Actually, I wonder if that would work. I wonder if you could make a wet palette out of mayo. Right? Like, hear me out here, okay? This might sound a bit crazy. Have a good night, Slaith. Have a good night, Java. But, you know, hear me out here. Hear me out. A wet palette made entirely of mayonnaise. Okay, now I know what you're thinking. Slaith, that doesn't make sense. You're gonna ruin your stuff. Just give me your toys. But no. There's some science to it. There's some science here. Right? Because mayo can make your turkey sandwich go from dry to, like, succulent and moist, right? So maybe mayonnaise could make your palate succulent and moist, right? Like, you need to get that moisture. You just spread some Miracle Whip, right? Like, you know, like some kind of Christmas miracle all over your palette, right? And then all of a sudden, all of the models that you never thought you could paint, all of the models that you never thought would get built, suddenly they're all built and you don't have to think about it anymore. And then it's all thanks to mayo. You know, I think there could be some serious science behind that, boys. Like mayo, like, hear me out. Mayo, right? May, which would be a word that is providing permission and allowance. May, right? Yo, something that you say to your friends, right? Or you're like, it's a greeting, right? So it's like a permissive greeting to your friend. And, like, when you're painting, your palette kind of, like, is your friend. It's like your best friend in a way, right? So it's like you're saying to your palette, hey, mayo, paint my models and build them for me, please. And then the palette, it's like a piece of plastic or something. So, like, at that point, you should maybe seek some medical assistance. So I'm gonna add a little bit of water there, a little bit of that in there. Alright, what can we get now? Let's see if I can get this area up here. This is kind of attracting my eye, so I'm gonna see if I can get that nice and clean. I mean, I'm gonna have to get everything a you know, 1-2 coat anyway. But as long as if I can get it nice and clean and get it nice and even there, you know, I'm gonna be pretty fine with this. And, you know, I'll just do it. Although this whole thing's gonna need to get an even coat across it anyway. So that way it doesn't, like, streaks and bullshit. Alright, how's our brush doing? How's our brush doing? Delicious. It's like I just dipped it into some Miracle Whip. Okay. So what do we got? So the legs are gonna need another coat. Oh, if I can even reach that angle there. Oh man, look at that. Can you even see that? Right there, right underneath this thing. Oh man, what a... And that one's gonna be kind of bad because there's gonna be this thing in the way. I might just go at it just sloppy. And then whatever's on the outside that gets touched up, I'll just fix that after. There's not much else I can really do to really solve that. And I'm not tearing this thing apart, because the way that it builds, these plates don't even just go on by themselves. The plate is part of, like, half the dreadnought. As for this... Right, okay, so... Casket's gonna need to get a thing, these cables on the sides need to get a thing, these boxes, and then this side of the dreadnought up to there, but not touching this, and wherever I'm cutting that off there, maybe I could maybe cut off the black where this thing ends, right, and then just treat this as the red part up to this line. Right there, I'll just kind of just pour it with my finger there. Right, so that way there's like a line there that show up. I don't think it shows up on camera. Have you considered an airbrush? Have you considered... You ever considered an airbrush? Wow, yeah, that's definitely a coffee and a smoke time. Yeah, that's yep. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. Do I have, like, a green smoke? Oh, I do. I'll have a green smoke. It's like Eldar smoke. Some of that Eldar leaf. Right? You put that into your Imperial pattern bong rifle, and then you smoke it. Right? It comes from, like, the tropical areas of Baal-Tan. And the Baal-Tan, I mean, like, they know how to party. I have, I have most of the parts for an airbrush there, Dread. There's been some hiccups because some of the parts didn't go together because they weren't the right parts. But things are on the way. The ball is moving forward. Progress is being made. And the airbrush will at one point someday maybe actually be used. Possibly, probably. We'll have to see. But for now, for now, paintbrush. So that's fine, because there's nothing wrong with paintbrushes. Paintbrushes are good. Paintbrushes are great. I love paintbrushes. I am a paintbrush. Right? My best friend's a paintbrush. My cat's a paintbrush. You're a paintbrush. We're all a paintbrush. And together, we brush paint. Okay? So we just have to remember that as long as we stay together and our bristles never drift apart, and as long as we can always give each other tips, just like a good paintbrush, then we'll always be able to get a nice point. Airbrush makes things so quick. You know, I was thinking the same thing. I mean, if everything went through the way it was, the way we thought it was, I might have been doing this, I would have been doing this stream Or like yesterday, I might have been doing a stream. We might have been paintbrushing all throughout the evening. It would have been airbrush this, airbrush that. Learning about airbrushes. I'm doing airbrush. Welcome, I'm Slate the Airbrush Marine. It would have been all of that. But for now, right now we're going with the manual, old school, bristly, applying it like with the thing. Where you're going do 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 and you're painting and all that, right? We're going with that. We're not going with the push and the pull and the like we don't have the action tonight. We only have the do 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 where we're able to paint with like a boopy boopy. Okay, we don't have a we only have a badoopy baboopy. So with that, all right, I'm running out of like ways to be able to say things without actually saying words. So I'm gonna get a little bit more paint on the palette. We're at an hour and 16. An hour and 16. That's good time. Good time. I don't know what this is. Like it's like the end zone. Goal. So we're in the final stretch. Final stretch of the live stream here, boys. All right, we're going through it. We're going home. We're going home. So we got one prototype ready. We're working on a second dreadnought. We're gonna make them all look kind of samey, right? Which is good because that's what I want. And oh, that time the paintbrush tasted like blood. That's my favorite time. All right, so now what? Okay, all right. There's a blob. Do I got another blob? All right, I got 2 little blobs there, and my mom don't care. She said you're moving with your auntie and uncle in Bel Air. So I'm gonna take a little bit of water and put it on my palette here, and then I'm going to put it on the Dreadnought's Dysonamere. And I don't even know where I was going with that. All right, so I'm going to clean off the brush there. Maybe put a little bit more water in there. Make that nice. That really thin. All right. What do we got here? So I think this time, because I'm probably going to, like, next time on Dragon Ball Z, I'm probably going to give this one, like, second coats in areas that I've already touched up. But for now, I think the most progress, or at least it'll feel this way, will get done by applying it to new areas and then coming back to second coats later. So for now, it's just going to be, like, getting it everywhere. And then next, it's going to be like, all right, so do a quick summary assessment, what needs what, where, and how much, and then just do everything. Alright, this is going to be a tough one. Alright, so now I need to go down. I need to go in between the cables. I need to make sure I don't go too far, because actually, I think it's pretty well defined, actually. There's some areas in there that I'm going to want it to make red, but that's going to be like the flat surface that's facing forward. And then there's going to be cables. That part's going to be a little bit of a nonsense section. But whatever, this whole Assault on Blackreach Dreadnought is nonsense. I just noticed the sword on the top. That's a brilliant idea. I might have to do that. Yeah, I got the sword from, like, a cheapy dollar store, from some, like, cheapo action figure sort of thing. I couldn't even tell you which one. I don't even remember who it was, like, what character it was or anything. So, like, as far as that, I have no idea. But I ended up taking the sword and then putting it on a piece of... I don't even know what that is. I think that's clear through from one of the, like, flying bases for, like, a land speeder or something, where it comes on that clear plastic. I think that's what that is. And this sword's flimsy as all hell. But that's also not a bad thing because it's malleable, it's not brittle. So it bends, but then it bends back. So instead of it just like breaking, it kind of works like that. Yeah, I made this pretty thin here at the end here. I probably shouldn't have added a little bit more water. Probably had enough water in there. Didn't need any more. There's like all sorts of cables. And then like ribbed pipes and things. And they're all kind of like cheaply put in. Like I'm wondering if the Assault on Blackreach Dreadnought was one of the first 3D designed models, like on a computer. Because there's some parts of it that really look like that to me. Where they weren't quite sure of what to do with some parts. So they just kind of just dragged and stretched the shape. Because there's definitely some parts on this that just seem so cheap. I mean, it is quite a cheap thing, because it's practically like a plugged together model. In the complexity of it. I think you still needed glue for it, but it practically was. Oh, I'm gonna go over all that color. Oh no. That's fine. Fix it. I'll make it good. Don't cry. Daddy's gonna make it better. Alright, then this part. This is getting complicated now. Alright. This, and then I think that whoops around there. Or what did I do for that part on there? That part stayed red? I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. I will leave that red for now. With the essential possibility that that's going to change, possibly. And I need to essentially figure out some sort of qualifications for it. Just need to figure out what goes where and how much and why. But I have a feeling I'm probably going to paint over that center circle spinner section. It's probably going to get some black, so that way it gets some metal, and that way it matches the kind of ball hinge section. I don't know what else to call that. I guess at least this one, I could take the arms off and I could get underneath all this. I am not breaking the arms off of the metal one, so I can paint underneath it. You know what? I don't need that shit in my life. I don't need that kind of shit in my life. Alright. I get everything here. Alright, now this, where did I decide? What did I say earlier? I think it was a straight line down from there. Maybe just follow that scratch. Good enough. I'm gonna go with that. And then from there, just fill in the rest. And then I could probably get away with it. There we go. And then that's probably as close to the other models where the way that that lines up there. So that's probably the best I'm going to get to replicate that. Because this has some very strange, cheap oddities to it with the way that it's just a lot of just flat surfaces like that. More so than regular models have. Like that is brutal. Okay. Get a little bit of paint here. You know, now I can go back to this leg. Why not? That part there is bugging me with how it's like red. It just the tiniest bit more that's done now is the tiniest bit less that's done later. Right? So nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can get a little bit. So water. I get in here at this angle. Oh, this is gonna be tough. Not gonna be pretty. Oh. Oh, okay. That was. You know, that was a lot easier than I thought it was gonna be. You know what? Let's try this other one. Let's see if we can get. See if we can get underneath here. Get areas here. Okay, that was a lot easier than I thought it was gonna be. Okay. You know what? This doesn't seem so bad anymore. Alright, we can get this done. Maybe not today though. We got those models look very dreadful. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Big Red 40K. You know what they remind me, you know what, these remind me a lot of the content that you're doing with BattleTech. Because they kind of look like BattleTechs, right? They look like Mad Cats, right? Like but then they've got the katana here, so they're able to do mech fu, right? And they're like, oh, take that, Capellans. Oh, take that, Clanners. Take that, Comstar. Take that, Confederated Alliance. I don't. Okay, it looks. They look like mechs. They go whoop 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 whoop, right? And they're also bigger than mech warriors, so they have like way more hit points and experience points. So they're like better than mech warrior. I mean, it's kind of objectively a fact. Look at how awesome these dreadnoughts are. Good to see you. Good to see you. I hope you're having a good day. Alright, so there's only so much more I'm going to be really doing tonight anyway. So I'm probably going to, let's see, we got, I'm going to say we got like 30 minutes left, right? So I just need to maybe pull out another little squilch of paint from the pot there. And then we'll do like one last pass of all the areas. And I'm probably going to leave the second coat for like next stream. I'm not going to be doing everything in one. But, you know, one step at a time, and we're gonna get there, right? So we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there either together, by myself, or by your own. We're all gonna do it. We are all dreadnoughts. None of us have legs, and we live in a casket in eternal torture of being kept alive, but in constant suffering. Oh, the music too. We got the music to like just get all pumped. Da, da, ba, 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 ba. Gotta love that paintbrush flavor. See, you can't quite get that with the airbrush experience, right? Like, you could stick... We're all Dreadnought now. That's right. You could like stick your airbrush in your mouth and then just start spraying it, right? Because you need like oxygen, and that's like the quickest way to get like concentrated air into you. You just start inhaling it. You could even just like take the airbrush and just like put it right into your veins, and then just start going. I actually highly suggest not to do that, but in case you wanted to, you know, really put some thought into that, and you get that like rush of oxygen. All right, so there's a little bit of paint there, a little bit of water in it. It's a little bit of hot action here. All right. Now, what am I doing? We are all Dreadnought now. Alright, so now this one. Okay. Alright, I think I've got an idea of what I need to get done here. I think I've got... That just sounds like dying with extra steps. Well, I mean, everything is kind of dying with extra steps, right? It's just all the parts that came before that final episode. Alright, so that is going to go right up to here. This is going to be a bit tough. Alright. Let's just make sure this is nice and even. Alright. Now, I don't know if that's perfect or if that perfectly lines up with everything on the other side, so I could probably... I think the way I lined it up on the other one is I could... Let's see. Does that line up? Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. Like a glove. Oh, that's beautiful. Sometimes life's pretty cool like that. Alright, so now I'm going to get the other side of this thing so I can kind of figure out what I'm doing here. Alright, so I'm going to get these things, whatever those are. I don't know what everything is. I don't know what to call everything. So everything's just going to be like a thing, or like that flat part, or like this vent, right? And then it's like, that's an exhaust. And it's like, well, it's an exhaust vent, right? And it's going to be like, well, I guess technically. I guess. Alright, so line this up. And this is going to be the tough one. Alright. They don't have many landmarks on this side to be able to... kind of match it up with. And it's gonna be kind of different because there's this. The other ones don't have this box section around that, so it's definitely gonna be different. But I think if I can repeat that, I think I can repeat that. I'm pretty confident in my ability to do roughly straight lines. That I should be able to approximate that 2 more times onto the Assault on Blackreach Dreadnoughts. Oh, these things are so hideous. I swear, these things are terrible. Terrible. It's pretty exhausting. Oh. Well, that doesn't sound fun. I mean, like, Bear, you're known for all the fun games. You're like the funnest person I know. Oh boy. But yeah, this does sound, this is awful though. Gotta run. Have a good night, Slate. Oh, have a good night, Bear. Thank you for popping in. It's always good to see you. Okay. Oh, there's like little cables here. Damn it. There's so many little details. Although that's good though. If I find them now, then it gives me the like the map that I need to follow in the future for when I'm doing more of these. And that map is useful. It's when you don't notice a detail and then it pops out later and you're like, shit. What's wrong, Slave? Ah, I forgot this fucking detail. Motherfucker. Well, it's not that big of a detail, is it? Yeah, it is. The most important one. So I don't get why this... So there's this vent, and it's on the other dreadnought, right? And it kind of... You know, it has this little trim here that I'm doing right now, right? And then once I, you know, get this bottom part, you know, that's it on the other one. But now on this one, it seems to have this like flat part that goes back all the way into the. This thing is funky. Okay, listen, the dreads liken. Oh, man, am I having a stroke? Liken the dreads so far just reminds me I have a Leviathan to do still. Which one's a Leviathan? That I don't. I am not familiar with what a Leviathan is. Is it Leviathan Dreadnought? Yeah, that sounds right. Leviathan Dreadnought. You know, I still have no idea what that is. I have no idea what a Leviathan Dread. I'm guessing that's like one of the Forge World Dreadnoughts. I feel like this is something I'm supposed to know because I'm Slate the Space Marine. So, like, I should know what a Leviathan Dreadnought is. But I have absolutely no clue what it is other than it's a Dreadnought. I'm guessing it's not a Primaris Dreadnought because I recall that being a name. Primaris Dreadnoughts. So it's probably, and this is just an educated guess, not a Primaris Dreadnought. See, by reasoning of deduction, see, these are like the superhuman space marine math skills that you gain when you get injected with your Primarch's gene seed, right? So, like, you know, the doctor has you on the table, you drop your pants, and then he puts the needles with the gene seed in one into each cheek, right? And then after that, you're like better at math, and that's how you're able to figure things out. Like you see things like Sherlock Holmes, you know? Ah, heresy. Yeah, it's dread. What are you doing? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If that is your real name. I'm painting dreadnoughts. Only about 20 minutes left in the stream based on how far I was kind of planning on going because, you know, I want to have some time, you know, where I'm just kind of relaxing and, you know, like hanging out with my friends and kind of enjoying my time just peacefully, quietly, boringly, you know, not so action packed. But right now I am putting on the base coats for these dreadnoughts. I am updating this old dreadnought right here, which is sitting here staring at you. Ba, 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 ba. This one is my original dreadnought, and it's being used as the framework of what I did for this, and then keeping it looking like this, but updating it to make it new. So I'm working on all these other dreadnoughts to be like this Mark II design, because this clearly was never finished. When I looked at it, there was a lot of stuff. It was very, very unfinished. And so looking at it, I kind of decided what wasn't finished, and I'm applying that with the pattern to all the new ones. And then once all the other ones have been given all that nice treatment, then I come back to the original one and I like retrofit it for the future. Here's to the future. All right. Curvy like a shorter, chunkier Contemptor. Oh, yeah. It's the one that looks like an alien spaceship, like a UFO or something. Let's see. What? Got like 20 minutes left. So we have left probably not too much. Probably just enough to get something done somewhere. Maybe is that gonna work? What's working? Is that gonna work? Go. Okay, so I still need to do this center part. Well, there's not even much to it on the Sultan Black Dreadnought. Looks like it just exists in the back of it. But based on some of the details there with that and how things line up and kind of some of the other models, I may go back and update what the new pattern's going to be. I might make this ring section here at the top that the ball joint connects into, I might make that silver as well. But I do kind of want to keep enough of the red body. I want to keep, like, I want it to have some of the red body left in it for not just all just turn metal. Nice, and yes, it is my real name. Everyone calls me One because I'm always number one. Well, number one. Engage. Okay. So, I think most of this is pretty much at the, everything's been given a coat state. And pretty well to the best that this is going to be. And then there's just a little bit of my freehanding skills to make that then kind of work the same way as that in there in the back. At least to the, kind of the best that it's going to get, right, with this model. This model looks, damn, this model's cheap. Well, I guess there's the sword still, but, I can do that. I think it's time for the wrap up, closing up moments, hockey time. I sit back, I enjoy my coffee, I read the comments, and I chat to everybody for the last like 10-15 minutes, right? We got real down and personal, right? And here's the real questions, right? This is Slaith talk after Slaith. This is where here on Slaith the Space Marine, we break out the most realist of realsies and we make everybody feels their feelsies. And here with me and you and everyone and all of us together, we will be able to push through and break through to that other side. And then we will be blinded by the light and revved up like a deuce in the middle of the night. We will. I promise you that. Chris Crocker won't be a joke. He won't. Promise you that. All right. There we go. Bam, 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 bam. Dreadnoughts are getting done. This is exciting. dreadnoughts. And then at one point, these dreadnoughts are all going to need to find their own homes. And I mean by that, like, they're going to stay here in my home. But they're going to need to find, and we're going to need to determine which dreadnoughts go into which companies. Now, clearly, this one here, my first dreadnought, the oldest one, right there, what's that? Bam, it's got a Crux Terminatus, it's got Terminator armors. This dreadnought used to be a Terminator. So he was in, like, the first company, or maybe he was a captain and he had Terminator honors. And, you know, like, we don't know. We don't know. I don't know. Do you know? I don't know shit. Have you guessed that by now? So, yes, what shampoo do you use for those flowing locks? Hanes or Fruit of the Loom? Isn't Fruit of the Loom underwear? Well, I certainly don't put underwear on my head to make the, you know, the hair, you know, be all luscious and luxurious. Like, that's definitely not the way it would go. But Hanes, isn't Hanes like a fruit brand? Or is, I don't know what Hanes is. You know, I don't know what I use. It's like, it comes in a black bottle, and then the conditioner is in a white bottle. So there's like a black bottle and a white bottle, and then you bring them together, and there's like world harmony. Right? It's kind of like the black and white cookie on Seinfeld, right? But the thing is, if you eat too much of the black and white cookie, eventually, you know, cookie starts going at war with itself in your stomach. You know, it's like, you know, like the cookie's not getting along. They can be separate questions. Oh wait, yeah, I guess they can be separate questions. I kind of read them all out as like one big question. Like it was like, you know, do you style your hair with your underwear? It was like, maybe I throw my arms in the air like I just don't care. And so there. Now, I don't really have too much to explore there. You know, one's in the white bottle. That's the conditioner, and the other one's in the black bottle. That's like the paint and the water here. Right? It's like what we've been putting on these dreadnoughts. Black. And then you see right there, white. That is the two bottles. And one of them has like white writing on the thing, and then the other one has black writing on the thing, so that way you can read it easier. And that's pretty much how that goes, right? You know, give it a little bit of a comb forward, comb back, comb left, comb right, comb up, comb down, right? Put it up like a troll doll, and then let it all flop to the sides, and then, you know, comb it whichever direction it wants to go, right? And then after all done that, just tie it all back like your Dax from Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and that's how you get the wonderful look that I present to you every day in every way. Oh yeah, Relic, you'll have to try it. You know, I think it'll work out great for you. I think that you'll get some real results with that. Mix it with a little bit of Rogaine, and then like right there, you know, you'll have thick, wonderful hair that's not gonna fall out unless you wash it. Don't wash it. Get in there, and then you'll be fine, right? Just don't ever wash your hair again. It'll mat down really thick, right? And then like some of it will get caught in like the greasy skin, and it'll be like it's building more hair, right? And then at that point, you'll be like Stalin, right? You'll be like Fabio in no time, right? Because like some of the hairs will then start ingrowing, and they'll start kind of like waving in and out of your scalp in like different sections. So it kind of looks like you have more hair all over the place, right? If it does it enough, right? And then you've got like really thick, but like don't brush it at that point, because then it'll like rip through your scalp, and like you'll start bleeding all over the place, right? It's not gonna be a pretty sight. Um, you know, you'll essentially kind of look like that chick at the end of Hellraiser 3, the one that like they like split her like the top of her head open, like some kind of like scalp vagina that's held open by pins, right? And she's like, "I'm the Hellraiser," or whatever she said. I forget. Get a nice Stalin stash. But me? I should get a Stalin stash? Hmm. You know, I could consider it. I'm not too big on the mustaches myself. It's not my favorite. I don't really like having a lot of a lot of that going on. right? It gets in the way of my bong smoking activities and my food. And I don't like getting hair in my food or food on my face like that. So I will just I will avoid it like no tomorrow. I will get lazy and sometimes I will have that plop out. Now with the shampoo, oh like a shampoo mustache, like I just put some of that like on my face and just let it sit there. Right? So it's kind of like that's that one scene from There's Something About Mary, right? Where she's like, "Oh, is that hair gel?" She goes up to Ben Stiller or whatever and she like takes the hair gel off of his ear and then puts it into her hair. Oh. Oh, you were meaning like a real mustache. Oh, yeah, that's what I meant too. That's clearly what I meant too the whole time. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's see. One dreadnought more or less done question mark. So there's still like do I do more in some sections. This one, which is going to be working like a prototype, kind of like that one, but for the other two Assault on Blackreach dreadnought. So it's gonna serve as like a map for that. And then there's gonna be the Furioso dreadnought, which I'm gonna call Brutus. That is Brother Brutus, right? Because it's like a Brutalis but shorter. So it's Brutus, and that one's gonna be based off of like that one probably, because it's not gonna have this bullshit that this one has. It's gonna have all sorts of different bullshit. So there's going to be all sorts of decisions that are going to need to be made, and it's going to be bullshit, and I'm going to hate it. But I'm going to love it. But I'm going to fucking hate it. So then this one. And then when they're all done, then finally, we can finally, actually, I don't know what we would do at that point. We would have dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts! And the dreadnoughts are going to be good. They're going to stomp forward. They'll fight Stampa. I don't know what they're gonna do. Okay, I will have dreadnoughts. I don't know. Can dreadnoughts fight a Stampa? Is that a thing? Can I have my dreadnoughts fight a Stampa? Like they got the Stampa, but I've got all the little Stompies, like the Stompatinis, right? It's like Gadget Man and the Gadgetinis, but it's like Stampa and the Stomparinos, right? And the Stomparinos are like fighting the Stampa, and it's like rah, 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 rah. And my ones are like zoop, 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 right, and they're like shooting lasers and machine guns and like punching it in the dick and stuff, right? Like I think the dreadnoughts are gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good time. We're gonna have dreadnoughts. They're gonna get divided all amongst the chapter in all sorts of different companies and formations and different sort of things, and that way they're all gonna have a home and they're all gonna have an identity and they're all gonna be their own kind of guy with a history and thing. But we have to get to that point. And then they get to have all that stuff and that history and that sort of thing. Right? Like this guy. I got to go back and I got to do that skull with the lightning bolt on his gun. Right? I need to even figure out what that means. Does that mean that he was like a Predator pilot? Was that dreadnought like a tech marine that worked in like a old style Predator tank and it had the lightning bolts? Or what does the lightning bolt mean? What does it mean? What does the lightning bolt mean? Okay, that's something I'm gonna need to figure out. I'm gonna need to get the answers so that way I know exactly what it is that I'm gonna do, right? Because I don't know. Does the lightning bolt get done in yellow? Is it supposed to be yellow or is lightning even yellow? Isn't lightning actually blue? So does that lightning bolt need to be blue? Is it a blue lightning bolt? I don't know. I don't have the answers to this. These are the answers that we have to find in ourselves, inside of us, like in our buttholes. And then when we do finally find the answers that we need, then we can release the secrets inside, like card captors. That's right. Always expect the unexpected, and that someone's just going to, out of nowhere, name drop card captors. And you're going to be like, holy shit, I do remember card captors. Man, that show was weird. And it's going to be like, yeah, Card Captors was a pretty weird show. And now we're talking about it like 20 years later. So, I mean, like, I guess it left an impression, didn't it? So, all these different symbols. Like these guys have this like skull with the thing on it. That's, I don't know, is that like a crux? I don't know what that is. Is that meant to be a crux terminatus? It looks different than like the one I remember. It looks different. There's still more to go, but I gotta get this little like Johnny Five head here that's on the bottom. And then the sword on the top. And then what else? And then like that looks like it's pretty well it. And then I just got to give like second coats to everything. So this guy's pretty well done, right? And I can get to the arms and the weapons and all that stuff like whatever. I can do that another time. I can figure that out. But all right, I'm talking myself into a corner. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm gonna wrap up the stream, so I'm gonna say goodnight, and then I'm gonna pop into Ads' Commissions Discord server, which I would recommend anybody who already isn't there, but most of the people watching this probably already are. But you know, check out Ads' Commission Discord server because he does a really good painting service. He does commission painting, and he's a very talented painter. This is, you want to do it. I'm not that good at selling people stuff, okay? So, like, don't ask me to do it. But what I'm saying is, check him out. He does good quality stuff, reasonable things and stuff, and check him out. Ads' Commission Corner. That's the unrequested plug, putting it in there because it's important. All right. Well, have a good night.